Today's episode is for the business girlies or the entrepreneurs that are wanting to build a business in the online space. We are coming to you hard and fast today. We are debunking and de-glorifying what it takes to build a successful, sustainable, and secure business in the online space. Now, you guys have probably seen our content before. You maybe follow lots of people who own businesses, and you probably think that they're living this glamorous, amazing, glorified life. But we just want to come to you with some real, raw, honest facts if you are in the growing phases of your business. Now, when I say growing phases of your business, we're talking 1 to 4/5 years.
Yep. And this is so important because if you only follow people that post the highlight reel, the wins, the high cash months, the clients coming on board, you're potentially going to feel like, 1, you're doing something wrong, or 2, that you're a failure if you're not there, or even if you're struggling more than what you think others are from what they're showing you online. So that's why we think that it's really important. We also want to just, as Kate said, debunk some of the things that you might think about running a business, because it is hard. There's a whole lot of things that come up, whether it be just navigating how to do everything, whether it be different challenges that everybody faces. We really think that it's important to bring awareness to this so you're better prepared.
Yeah, I agree. I think my first grievance.
Go for it.
My first grievance with the online space in particular is how everyone jumps on this narrative that business needs to feel easy and free-flowing. And if things don't feel quote unquote aligned, they are not meant for you. You should give it up, pack it up, and try something completely different. The reality is, and guys, I'm looking down the camera because you need to fucking listen. The reality is your business is probably not going to feel fucking easy for the first 1 to 3 years, if not 1 to 5 years. If you are in the growing phases of business, meaning you don't have a lot of clients, you are potentially still working a part-time or a full-time job while you're building your dream on the side, it is going to feel like a slog. There are going to be things that you do in your business that completely fall flat on their face. There are going to be decisions that you make that are really hard. You're going to have hard, uncomfortable conversations. You're going to launch something, it completely flop. You're going to have to pull it back down, remarket it, revisit the landing page, put more money and effort into the marketing side of things before it actually works. If your business coach or someone online is telling you that you need more ease and flow in your business, all they are doing is keeping you small and fucking lying to you.
And in addition to that, with the whole ease, I really want to talk about the fact that balance is unlikely to exist when you're growing something. And that's also...
You have to sacrifice things.
100%. Like, think if you work a 9 to 5, there's nothing wrong with that. There's pros and cons to everything. A 9 to 5 means you can clock on, you can clock off. You have a break between, or there's a boundary between that. And if you work for yourself, that doesn't exist. You do need to put boundaries in place to avoid burning out. But there is going to be that crossover because you're wearing all of the hats. So when we talk about balance, I am not expecting to grow a business and reach all of my business goals by starting at 9 a.m., finishing at 5 p.m. and just sitting there and thinking I'm done with the day. I know that if I want to reach my potential in business, it's going to require a lot more than that, because I have big goals, and that's okay. I'm willing to sacrifice that because I want the upside of that. I want the impact. I want to grow my business and basically do all of the things right. So I really think that if you're starting a business and you're also chasing balance straight away, you're limiting what it is that you can do, and that's not a bad thing. I think that we hear a lot, there's this spectrum that I see, which is kind of like ease, free flowing, all of that. And then we see like hustle and grind and burnout, right? And both of those ends of things, if you take anything to too extreme, it's going to be problematic. But there is this middle ground where you sway further one way than the other, and that is going to be needed for certain periods of time. So let's use the example. You're starting your business, you're wanting to move online or grow online. You're going to need to work a lot. You're going to need to learn lots of skills to get really good at what you need to do. Marketing, customer service, back-end systems, all of that stuff. And you need to be prepared for the sacrifice of maybe you're not traveling as much, or maybe you're not being as social during that time. That is what is expected if you're wanting to take it to the next level. Otherwise, you're going to limit your growth.
I would also argue the burnout thing for a second.
Yeah.
I really think that people who come into business and they chase the freedom from day one are only going to burn themselves out. Because what they are going to be doing is faking this, I have this freedom on social media, when in reality, behind the scenes, they don't. A lot of people will, demonize being more hustle and grind versus the ease and flow, because the ease and flow is easy. The ease and flow is a way for you to avoid doing the hard work. The ease and flow is a way for you to not see where you are your own limitation, where you are falling short, where you need to work on who you are as the human behind the business. It's easier for me to go, actually, that didn't feel aligned, that's why I'm not going to do it, than face myself in the mirror and go, actually, you fucked it and you need to redo it again. Actually, you didn't get the result you want because you didn't show up as well as you could have because you decided to tap out halfway through. Versus the person who is ready to actually hustle and actually grind. And this is not about the hustle culture, blah, 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 whatever, insert thing here. It is more so about the person that is willing to look at themselves in the mirror, see their shortcomings, look at their limitations, but not let them limit them forever, is the person that's always going to win, the person that's always going to come out on top. And when we think to like the burnout conversation, the only reason that you're probably feeling really burnt out in your business at the moment is because you either don't have any boundaries or you are overly emotional when it comes to decision making and results in your business. I can tell you now that I've been in both ends of the spectrum here, where I felt incredibly burnt out. My business felt incredibly hard because I was making every single thing that happened in my business mean something about me. Versus when I actually became more of a neutral leader, where I could sit in the middle of the masculine, the feminine, the hustling, the grinding, the ease and the flow. I do not feel so overly attached to my business anymore. It doesn't mean anything about me anymore. And I'm not tethering on the edge of burnout. So yeah, it's a very interesting conversation. And I think the main point that I wanted to make in this podcast is like, what you see online, this ease, this flow, this relaxation in your growing phases of business is a lie. There is no way that you're going to build a successful business. Now, success looks different to everybody, whether your version of success is freedom of time, freedom to travel. There is no way that you're going to do that unless you make sacrifices in the early stages.
And I would also say that I have seen, like when I started my business, I saw all of these wins and this like freedom and things like that. And like that seems really appealing.
It's
and then,
a marketing tactic.
But then as soon as things get hard, you're like, what am I doing wrong? And I want to use this example because I think this will be really good to reflect back on. When we travel later in the year, right, you're going to see highlights. You're going to see us working in Bali and, educating and doing all of these awesome things. That did not happen 7 years ago, day one of us becoming personal trainers. So that's the reality check.
That took us 5 or 6 years.
So the first thing I want to clock is that took a really long time of consistency, of building brand awareness, of all of that stuff. That's the first thing. Second thing is you will see the highlight reel. You'll see the traveling, the fun, all of that. But I'm just going to tell you right now that this year I dedicated and decided that I'm really going to level up my business. And the reality of that is I can't think of the last time this entire year where I have not worked every single day. And I'm okay with that. I am enjoying it. I'm on, feeling really good. But if you clock this in July when we're in Bali and you're like, oh, like, wow, like seems so easy for her. I am working every single day. I'm waking up between 5 and 6. I'm supporting my clients, I'm learning new things, and I am clocked in because that's what I want to do and that's important to me. But you can't have one without the other. So I just really want to just bring it back to the real world that that's what I am doing to have the things that I want to have, because to me that's worth it. And I'm happy to sacrifice whatever it is, a weekend or that, because my vision or my goal is bigger than the short-term things that I might be giving up.
Yeah. And I think like the whole she's so lucky thing is such a
cop-out,
an interesting conversation, right? Because the reality is if you're someone who's in business right now and you go, it's only happening for her, she's so lucky, she came from money, insert whatever limitation that you have here, how about you just sit with the fact that actually that person worked harder than you? That person showed up when you didn't. That person posted 10 times more amount of content than you did. That person has spent 10 times more amount of money on investing in herself. That doesn't feel very good, because then you can go, oh, that's all my shortcomings. That's all the things that I need to work on. So yeah, I think for me, the main thing that I want you guys to understand is building a business in your growth phases is going to feel hard. It is going to also be hard. You are going to be tried and tested over and over and over again. You are going to have to discover, then rediscover things about yourself that you either do like or you fucking hate. You are going to go onto the most wild personal development journey that you've ever been on. But know on the other side of the sacrifices that you make now in your growth phases, you are going to be able to, and I'm saying this with my full chest, I can nearly 100% promise you that if you sacrifice things today in the early phases of your business, you will be able to have the freedom, the flexibility, the sustainability, the security. But you just need to not give up. You need to not give up when things feel hard. You need to not fall into the noise that is social media, that when people tell you that it's not meant to feel hard, if it feels hard, you're doing it wrong, and that makes you give up. You need to work hard. You need to work harder than 95% of people. And if you can do that, you're going to be successful. You're going to be able to go to Bali. You're going to have the freedom, the flexibility, the security of owning and being fully self-employed by yourself. So keep that in mind. And when you are in the trenches, I like to say, of business where things feel fucked. I mean, last week I plugged into my mentor, bawling my eyes out. I literally sent her a voice message, bawling my eyes out. It still happens to us. We still have days where things feel shit, where we launch things and they completely fail. When, somebody posts something nasty about us online and we have to face that head on. Just understand that it will get easier, but you can't have ease without hard work.
Yep. And I want to kind of summarize what it's actually like over, the last 6 or 7 years of running a business or moving online and things like that. And we've spoken about a lot of things are glorified, but like week by week things that we go through, it's a bit of an emotional roller coaster. And it is a massive opportunity for personal development that if you can embrace that, you'll be a better person for
overall,
it, because you will be better regulated, you will be able to make decisions better and all of the above. But just some examples of like things that you deal with running an online business, for example, being misunderstood. Maybe if you have a fear of being seen and you want to promote your services, you might have a fear of being perceived or judged. If somebody inquires about, let's use our example, coaching, and then they ghost you, how do you handle that? Do you take it as a personal diss or do you move on and continue spreading your message? Like there are going to constantly be things that could have the potential to trigger you or to grow you. And we both have moved through and continue to deal with those things. And yes, they don't get posted online all the time, but I promise you, we also go through those struggles. So I think that if you can take it through the lens of this is a personal development journey, and it will be hard, but it will be worth it if that's what you want to do, then you will come out the other side feeling so much better. But
I've got one more thing, sorry, because that whole point brings like a little spark in my brain. Your mission needs to be bigger than your emotion, right? So when I think about my business and I think about all the flack that I've copped, all the failures that I've faced, all of the hours that I've worked my ass off on the gym floor, building my brand, building my reputation, getting my clients results, being painted out as the bad person, right? Because when a client doesn't get a result, it's not their fault, it's your fault because you're the coach who didn't deliver, right? None of that matters to me. Because I know my end mission. I know the impact that I'm having. And my business from day one has never been about me. Like I didn't start a business so I could be Kate Morris and everyone looks at me. That's the least of my fucking worries. My business is about the people that I know I can help. So the moment that you have this business feels hard, everything's about me, this person doesn't like me, insert thing here, it is always going to feel really, really unachievable for you to achieve your goals. When you are mission focused of my business is not about me, it's about the people that I get to serve. I'm in a service-based business. My job is to serve other people. All of that hard work and all of the things that you need to do, the sacrifices, it doesn't matter. Like I'm willing to sacrifice, not going out on the weekend to build my dream, knowing that I'm helping 15 other people on the backside of that.
And I just want to end that, because that's such a great point, is if your sole reason for becoming a coach is because you want to work on a laptop on a beach and you want to make money, then you are missing the point. We are coaches because we want to help people. We want to help women, most likely in particular. We want to spread impact, a positive impact. So if you just focus on the money and this, image-based thing, you're not going to last very long. And like Kate said, if you focus on the impact, your mission, spreading a positive message, then you will weather all of the difficulty that comes with that because you know how powerful that is.
I also think, sorry, this is the last thing and then I'm going to shut my face. I also think if you're getting into, sorry, I'm laughing because it's funny. It's not funny. If you get into business, coaching business in particular, just to make money, I could think of 100 different businesses where you could make a lot more money a lot quicker. You have to have some sort of passion to be able to withstand the sacrifices, withstand the hard work. So if you're right now in your business, just to quickly wrap up, you're feeling really shit, you're feeling like everything's a slog, tap into what is my mission? What is my long-term goal? Am I making this business mean something about me? And understand that you cannot have ease without some sort of sacrifice. It's like you can't have flowers without some kind of rain. Yeah? Anyways, that wraps up today's episode. Otherwise, we will be here for the next 72 hours and probably nobody wants to hear me yapping in your ear for 72 hours.
I do.
You guys know what to do. We love you so much.
Bye.
And rate this podcast 5 stars. Leave a comment if you enjoyed today's episode. And we love you. Bye.